What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bowls Fishing. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Today, I want to do a little bit of a discussion. If you see my last video I posted, it was a video on my 2024 rod and reel setup for the upcoming season. And in that video, I shared with y'all that I have officially switched all my rods back over to 13 fishing. And I said in that video, I was going to do a separate video on why I made the switch from the Cash and Icons back to 13 fishing. And this is a video for it. First and foremost, this is not a video bashing another company. This is strictly just my opinion and my thought process and how I wanted to move forward and, with the rods and how to try to, make it in this wonderful industry that we have nowadays. So this wonderful fishing industry. So but before we get into it again, this is more of a discussion. And you're probably like, well, this isn't a live. I can't ask questions or I'm not in there with you. Well, discussion is as in it's going to be more relaxed. It's not going to be, it's just strictly informational and sharing my opinion and my experience with why I switched from cashing over to 13 fishing. So start all off, whenever I switched over to the bass boat world, 2022, 2021, somewhere around there, I said, you know what? I'm hanging up kayak fishing for a little bit. I'm going to go into the bass boat world and I'm going to, give this MLF, BFL thing a shot. I've always been interested in the BFLs, always wanted to compete in one. So I was like, you know what? Let's just give it a shot. I ain't got nothing to lose, right? So whenever I made that decision, I was also switching out a lot of my equipment, selling my kayak stuff, getting bass boat stuff, this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, if I'm going to, lack of a better term, hit the road and compete in these BFL tournaments, then, just speaking of my main tool in my arsenal was my rods. And so thinking about that, I wanted to, lack of a better term, I had 95% of them were 13 fishing at the time. Loved them, had no issue with them, but I wanted, like a better term, to try something different. So I decided at that point that I wanted to switch all my rods over to the Cash and Icon series rods. And also in that same time, I switched all my reels over to Daiwa. I've been using Daiwa reels since I started bass fishing back in the day. Thank you to Tim Hawkins at Hammond's Fishing for pushing me to Daiwa reels. That is, to me, that's one of the best reels out there. The Tatula series, Tatula, whatever you want to pronounce it. Anyway, so at that time, I said, okay, I'm switching over my reels. I made the investment, switched over my reels and my rods to, Cash and Icon paired with Daiwa reels. And in that process, it took me a little while to switch everything over. But the first thing, and the reason why I chose Cashin is because, for one, they're made in the USA. I like the company as a whole. I love their values of that company. And also, I wanted to get the Icon series where I could have a lifetime warranty on those rods because, when you decide to travel and compete at a different level or really just in any tournament, you want something that's fairly dependable, and if something was to happen, you can fall back on some type of warranty. So that was another reason why it pushed me to Cashin. Keep in mind, guys, Cashin, I do want to say this note. Again, I've been in this realm of the industry for quite some time now. Not as much as some others, but more than, some others as well. And when you devote the majority of your life and your financial life to fishing, it gets expensive. And when you make a big switch like that, it's a lot of money. I mean, I usually run 7-8 rods at around $230, $260 a pop. That's just for the rods. Then you got to turn on and do the reels, which, it's a lot of money. And so I was like, let's just do it. So I made the switch and I started to use the Cashin rods. And I think it was the first time or second time I went out, I broke a rod. And I was like, crap. It was actually at a tournament that I was on, and thank goodness I kept some backup 13 fishing rods in my boat. And this was my shaky head rod at the time, and I was just like, okay, I'm not too happy. I'm in this tournament, but I'm glad I have a backup plan, right? always keep something extra. If it's a kayak tournament, keep it either in your kayak, on your kayak, or in your truck. If it's a bass boat tournament, same thing. Keep it in your boat or in your truck. So I switched over, ended up having a great practice day on that tournament, but then, the tournament day kind of fell apart, but, it is what it is. You don't have those days. But so I was like, well, I bought these icons, so I'm going to, as soon as I get back in town, I will, start the warranty, or really learn about the warranty process, how to process a claim, if you want to call it that, and then, like a better term, get a new rod. And the way Cash and Rod warranty program works is you buy the icon, lifetime warranty, however you want to label it. And then, when you go to submit the claim, you got to fill out this long form online. You got to take pictures. You got to put in all your serial numbers and stuff. And then once you do all that stuff, you have to turn around and pay a processing fee to process the warranty. And then if you're not around the factory of Cash and Rods, you have to get it shipped to you, which I'm not around one, so I had to get it shipped to me. So turnkey to, on top of all the paperwork, the pictures and stuff like that, you have to pay $120 to get you a new Cash and Rod. Okay, so again, originally the rod was around $230, $260, and then you got to pay another $120 to get a new rod. Completely understand the process, but what was kind of hectic, and I forgot about this key factor of the process. So once you submit your claim and pay your process and shipping fee, you have to turn around and I'll show you what you have to do. So you have to, this is the last one I broke, which we'll get in this one in a minute. You have to, this is your rod, and you have to cut off the serial number where it says the serial number, the style, all the information on the rod. You got to cut this off, print out the form you just submitted electronically, put it in an envelope, then ship it back to Cash In for them to officially process your claim and ship you back a rod. Okay, so again, that's a lot. And again, going back to what I just said, I completely understand why you have to do that. But because anybody can, I found this broken rod at the boat ramp. I know about Cash In. It's a lifetime warranty. I'm going to cash in on it, right? I understand the process. I understand all that. I guess my thing was, I don't want to jump ahead. So I get the new rod in. It did take a while because there was a lot of stuff going on in the industry at the time. Switching, I think they were having some, not stocking issues, but I think they were going to a bunch of trade shows, this, that, and the other. And I had to continue to follow up on my claim. Like a better term, I think it ended up taking like 2.5, 3 months to get here. And I understood that because there was some other stuff going on, but going through all that, it is what it is at that point. So I get a new one in, and then I was out on the water again, and then another one broke. And so I had to go back through the whole process again. Then that one came in a little bit quicker. Then I had to get another one. This, that, and the other. It was just constant. And then the last one, I finally got my warranty rod back from Cash In. This was, let's just say, a month ago. And then about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I was out on the lake, brand new rod, just got it back. Or they just shipped me the brand new rod for my warranty. And I think it was my second cast with this rod. It was my jackhammer rod, and I went to set the hook on a fish, and the rod broke like half in between, this point of the rod all the way to the tip. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I literally just got this rod, and now I'm having to do it again. I understand I may have got a bad batch, and they, it is what it is, right? I understand you may have got a bad batch of rods, and that's why you've had, like a better term, bad luck with, the breaking the rods. And guys, I tend to fish a lot, but I baby my rods, because this is your most useful tool in the fishing world, especially tournament fishing. If you don't have this in your hand, then you ain't going to do nothing, right? And so I keep them in rod sleeves. I keep them in my locker. You can ask any one of my friends and family, I baby my rods. But maybe I just got a bad batch. But so I get back, and then I start going through the process again, and I started thinking to myself, I'm like, and it's getting into late fall, wintertime bass fishing. Georgia's one day it's summer, the next day it's snowing, right? So, but we're getting to that point, and One rod that I always kept in my arsenal was my fish head spin rod, was my faint V13 fishing faint V3. I had a fish head spin on it. I caught a lot of fish on it. I kept that rod. That's one of the rods I didn't sell. Keep in mind, I had a few other, odd and end rods. I think a couple more 13, a couple more ducket, whatever. But I was looking at that rod because I was, getting it all relined up for the, upcoming season. And I was just like, let's think about it for a second. Okay, brand new rod, 230 to 260. And yes, it comes with a warranty, but then if you have to cash in the warranty, you're out $120. Okay? Understand that process. Don't have a problem paying that fee. None. I don't like how you have to mail that in, but I understand why. But I was sitting there thinking, I was just like, I never had an issue like this with my 13 fishing rods. And again, I may have just got a bad batch, but I was looking at that rod and I was just like, let's do a little bit more research. So I looked at my 13 fishing faint V3 price versus the $120 I was about to pay. On 13 fishing, I could pay $75 and get a brand new rod, or I could use Tackle Warehouse and get a brand new, and that was for 13 fishing. And now I can go to Tackle Warehouse and get a brand new 13 fishing, the same rod for $100. I'm not sure where the difference is there, but you know what? Really, you're still under that 120 feet, and I never had no issues with them. I like the rod. I just want to try something new. So at that point, and the way the world is now, inflation, everything expensive, especially for a family of 5 and a guy that's trying to, chase his dream, I don't have a lot of money to spend, right? So I was like, well, why don't I just, let's look at it, okay? I can get 13 fishing rods to match match what I have for X amount of dollars versus, having to pay all this extra money. And yes, I am big about, keeping all my stuff the same. So I will throw that into the mix too. But at that point, I was just like, you know what? I go back to originally why I like 13 fishing. I like it for the company. It's a good quality product at a cheaper price. Same thing with Fluke, Drew Greger, all these people. They're using 13 fishing rods for 2 reasons. They're great rods and they have great reels. They're great rods and they're at a lower budget. It's still at a good quality of rod. But those people are in this industry to introduce people to this sport. So that's why, they use that, because they're not, if you're getting into the sport of fishing, no matter if it's kayak fishing, bass fishing, bank fishing, whatever, and you're just wanting to try it, you don't want to go drop $250 on a new rod. You want something that, is decent and you can turn around and, not spend, no more than $100 on a good rod that's going to last you a while. That one fish head spin was one of the first 13 fishing rods I got probably 3 or 4 years ago. And it is still strong as an ox, dependable, and is just dynamite. So I got some history there. So when I looked at all that, I compared it all up and kind of my plans for going into, the 2024 season. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make the jump back to 13 fishing just for the simple fact where I ain't got to mess with this stuff no more. And if it does happen, I can turn around and spend less money to get a new rod. So that is the sole purpose. Is mainly I love the brand. I like the rod in my hand, but it is a big, financial decision as well. And for the simple fact of what I'm planning on doing for this next season. So again, that is the whole reason why I went through all that process twice in the matter of 2 years. And, I understand why. And I understand why you got to pay the processing fee. I understand why you got to pay the shipping fee. I understand, you have to do all this paperwork to cover your butt. I completely understand it. My opinion and I did not like that kept happening. And I had to go through that long process and have to submit all that stuff in. That's just me. I didn't like it. And that was my take on it. So that was my decision of why I went back to 13 fishing. So once again, I'm back with 13 fishing. I am still using my Daiwa reels. I have a lot of life left in them as long as I take care of them like I usually do, they can last me forever. I may venture into trying on a few rods, the 13 fishing reels, because that's one thing I've always wanted to try was the 13 fishing reels. I just never, like a better term, I never had the money to invest not only the rods but always the reels, at that point in time. So that's definitely something I'm going to venture into as well. But at the same time, I'm big on if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So if it ain't broke, I'm not going to fix it. So again, guys, I'm not bashing cashing. I'm not bashing this. I'm not bashing that. Nothing. I completely understand why I just did not like the experience I had and the process of the whole thing. So that's why I made the switch back. I'm happy to have a 13 fishing rod back in my hand. I love the rod. I loved everything about them. I loved everything about the company. So I'm blessed, and I'm glad to be able to get that back in my hands and, tackle this 2024 season and all these big things I got planned coming up for the upcoming season, guys. So as always, guys, I want to thank y'all for watching. Please, if y'all do like these types of discussion videos, my experiences, this, that, and other, please, if you don't mind, drop a comment in the comment section below. If you have any questions, do the same thing, or you can shoot me a DM through YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever I'm at. You can definitely shoot me a DM. I have it all linked up on my phone. I'll be able to get it. And guys, if you don't mind, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. That is the only way anybody's making in this world is doing this, or doing what I'm doing, is to grow their following. And, because I have some really cool things coming up, and I want to take y'all along with me. So if you don't mind, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that little bell up top that notifies you every time I upload a video, guys. So thank y'all so much for watching. Stay tuned, stay classy. Got some good things coming down the pipe, guys. Deuces.